What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another video. I got an awesome gem I want to share with you all. One of my sources sent me a little snippet of the Scream 5 script. Now, they did say that they were not sure if it is the official theatrical version. It's sort of a screenshot of a screenshot. So it's not like the actual script in hand, somebody took a picture of it. So they're not sure if it is the theatrical version or one of these several versions that were created. I believe there were several scripts total for Scream 5. So they're not sure either way. They just wanted to share this information with me and gave me permission to share it with all of you. That being said, it is a possibility that there are major Scream 5 spoilers. I always try to be conscious and aware and courteous to you all because I know many of you do not want anything to do with spoilers and Scream 5. And I haven't read the script in its entirety. I just kind of skimmed through it. It's not a ton of information, but it appears to be about Dewey and seems rather significant. So I don't want to ruin anything for anybody that doesn't want it to be ruined. So if you want to click away, I completely understand. I ask you hit that like button before you go. Helps out the channel, helps get this out to people that do want to see this kind of stuff. And that being said, if you're still here, 3, 2, 1, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot, lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification so you never miss an upload. Stay up to date with all things Scream, join this wonderful community and all of our discussions, and let's get into the script. Alright, so let's read what we got here, and then we will have our discussion per usual. I know it's kind of hard to read on screen, so again, we'll just read it and then have a discussion about it, so make sure you join it down in the comments. So let's jump right into it. Dewey slowly makes his way over and notices he shot the figure right between the eyes. A perfect shot. Blood pours from the bullet wound all over the white Ghostface mask. Dewey kneels down and stares at the figure. He sets his gun down onto the floor. A beat. He removes the bloody mask to reveal Gale underneath. What? No! God, no! Her mouth has been duct taped, arms tied behind her back. It was a trap. Dewey's jaw drops to the floor. His eyes bulge out. He grabs Gale's shoulders, shaking her, hoping she would respond. But her body remains completely still. She's dead. This is sad, heartbreaking, and gut-wrenching. Dewey continued, overwhelmed. Gale! Oh my God, Gale! Dewey's eyes quickly fill with tears. A quiet cry escapes from his mouth, and tears run down both sides of his face. He cries, staring into the cold, open eyes of his lifeless wife, when a Ghostface killer pops around the ajarred front door from outside and lunges into the foyer. The killer plunges a large knife deep into Dewey's back. His body begins to tremble as the pain overtakes his senses. The Ghostface rips the knife out, pulling flesh with it. He stabs Dewey in the back again, and then a quick jab to the side. Dewey falls onto his stomach, bleeding everywhere. A puddle of blood quickly forms on the floor from his stab wounds. The Ghostface shuts the front door. He proudly stands over Dewey and watches the life quickly drain from his wounded body. Dewey tries to draw away, but can't. He manages to turn himself over into his back and cries out, coughing up blood. The Ghostface kneels down, picks up the gun from off the floor, then rises up, hovering over Dewey. Ghostface, 2 down. So, again, I'm not saying that this is the script for the film. This could, for all I know, just be, a publicity thing just to get this out. There's been many rumors that the studio itself has put stuff out for people to kind of latch onto and discuss. This could be just total nonsense. Again, take this with a grain of salt. That being said, I kind of like this. I'm not going to lie. I know this would upset a lot of people because not only would Gale die, Dewey would die, and the way in which Gale died, and kind of I feel would really upset a lot of people. But there have been rumors in the past that Gale and Dewey actually die together. There was a leak not too long ago about the two of them sort of dying together, and as Dewey dies, he grabs Gale's hand, and they essentially die together. So this would kind of tie into that. So this could very well be something of the film. if I had to guess, I would say no. If I'm being honest, I would say that this is probably just one of the other scripts, or even, just some fodder put out there to get people to discuss it. Now, again, I do like this idea because, one, it draws that emotion, which is what they've talked about in Scream. Not only would people be upset, but you'd have that emotional scene, especially given, David Arquette's acting prowess and being able to really hone in on that emotion, and seeing Gale, his wife, the love of his life, all that stuff, sort of being this victim at his own hands. It really, it would be a nice sort of transition, because Dewey thinks he kills Ghostface, he thinks he's the hero, all that joy and like, yeah, I did it, like, yes. And then to see the actual result and what happens, I think that's a really sort of like moment that would really hit home. And then Gale being Gale, and it also fits in. I mean, Courtney has been very open about wanting to be killed off in one of these films. There's been tons of rumors since Scream 3 that David has sort of asked for the same. So it's very likely, and I've said this from the jump, that both of them could die. And it just comes down to, if that's the case, how would you want them to die? Would you want them to die separately? Would you want them to die in a more heroic way? It just comes down to how would they die. I think this would be a very emotional from an audience standpoint, a very tragic from an audience standpoint, and even a character standpoint, but also a memorable scene that'll carry on forever. The how did Dewey and Gale die? Dewey was set up by Gale, which there is supposed to be a bait and switch in this film. So this could be that, where Dewey shows up thinking thinking that Ghostface is there, shows up, sees the first Ghostface, boom, pulls the trigger, it is Gale, and then Dewey ends up meeting his demise because it's a setup. That has been a supposed leak since the beginning. I mean, we covered that here on this channel. Now, again, who knows if that is actually the case or not, but this falls into that. This falls into a lot of the stuff that has been rumored and leaked for quite some time. Now, I would assume this happens later on in the film. I don't think this would happen, opening scene or in the beginning. I think that this would happen probably mid-film. And this could be what draws Sidney to Woodsboro. Gale and Dewey just died at the hands of Ghostface. What better reason to return to Woodsboro than this? Like, what better reason to return to Woodsboro than her two best friends, her big brother, Gale and Sidney have this like weird, awkward relationship, but there's genuine love there. And just the relationship that they built through all of these attacks and just chaos and stuff, it makes a ton of sense that this could be the sort of catalyst to get Sidney to return. And a lot of the general consensus for the film later on, and like things that have been put out, seem to be that Sidney is the only one that we know later in the film actually has a part. Now, that doesn't mean that Dewey and Gale don't, but it sort of lines up to the information that we have at this time. That this likely, if it does happen, would happen probably an hour or so into the film. Sidney returns full-fledged, and then that sort of transitions into what we know for the later parts of the film. This also sort of falls into like a lot of the spoilers that I've been covering. If you've been following along with those, it kind of makes sense with even that stuff, and sort of makes sense to Sidney's story in those spoilers. So, I don't want to go too much in depth into those, because I'm sure there's some of you watching that haven't followed along that don't mind this little brief spoiler, but don't want like anything major. That's the plot point. But regardless, this is again, whether it's real or not, I enjoy it. I think it's a sort of great piece of like insight, and it could be a screenwrite that they wrote. This could be one of the scripts that they originally had, because there were 7, I believe. There were 7 different scripts. And so it's very likely they made several different combinations, and this could have been one of them. And then thus it got out, got to me, and now I'm talking about it. So it's very likely that this is a script for Scream 5, but it might not be the theatrical script of Scream 5. But regardless, I really like this. I think it does everything that you would want from a standpoint of, like, if you're going to kill these characters off, they die together, being Dewey and Gale. They've always sort of been together, and to see their transition over the years, and then sort of they both meet their fate. It's sort of that, like, Romeo and Juliet, poetic ending, where the heroes die together in just the most tragic way possible. It is definitely storytelling. It is definitely a moment that would be very impactful. And to me, that's something that you want to have in a 5th installment. But as always, this is a discussion, and I want to hear from you. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think this could be believable? Do you think, like, nah, it's total nonsense? Do you think that if it is real, would you like to see something like this? Or are you like, no, like, I want to stay as far away from something like this as possible? I'd love to hear all those things down in the comments below. If you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. It helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, again, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notifications. Stay up to date with all things Scream. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.